Know if there are any other questions? Now we're ready. Stand for the pledge, please. Call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Oh, frickin' dry coffee cake is sticking in my throat.
You got half a cold too?
Yeah, so I don't know.
I think so.
I definitely do.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. But we had a chance to review the minutes of the November 14th meeting. Think about the right page numbers down. Well, I always miss something. Any corrections, deletions, requests of any of those, the town clerk? If not, these are the clerk's minutes. Public comment. Anybody in the public wishing to make a comment tonight? Justice Levy?
Actually, I just wanted to ask the town board if it could be clarified. We have actually DA nights, third Tuesday of every month. And we now have a new DA. Our previous DA didn't come into, well, especially the last several months had made a point of coming down here, where our new DA will. And we will probably have a lot on our docket now that she's willing to come down. So both Tara and I wanted to see about if there's a way we can reserve, I guess, the town hall for Tuesday nights, especially the third Tuesday of every month. And I know there's been other times where there's meetings here when we had like the DA night, and there's a lot of people here. We've had to shush people that were in the meeting room next door. And really, we need to be able to provide a spot for the attorneys to go and speak with clients. And that really has worked out well, that they could go over there. So I guess what we're asking is Tara, and unfortunately she couldn't be here tonight, so we would like to see if there's a way we can kind of book the town hall on Tuesdays. I mean, obviously we have court here anyway. I know there's a big kind of, is it a meeting room, is it a courtroom? We've kind of gone back and forth with this for several years. Unfortunately, we are not allowed to meet. No, we no longer can meet in the chambers. It has to be in a public area like this. Otherwise we can be sanctioned, and neither myself nor Tara are willing to do that. And we just wanted, I guess I would like, because I know there's a schedule that we have to be on, but is there a way we can just say Tuesdays is for court? It can be the courtroom Tuesday, and they can have their meetings other nights, and then we have the availability if there's an attorney here to be able to meet in the senior room to discuss, you know, if they need to have their own area.
You touched on quite a bit of the stuff that's makes this point in of itself. We're supposed to be providing other areas for people to talk, not even just on DA night. If you've got a bunch of people in here for court normally, and they want to confer with their lawyer,
Right.
got to be able to allow them to go someplace else.
Shouldn't the court take precedence after the grants we got to?
And that was the next statement I was going to make when, as soon as we put these doors in here, made those the chambers and gave them their safe access, put the bulletproof glass door on there, the high windows and the tables. This is a courtroom. First and foremost, this is the courtroom. Secondly, it's the meeting room. Courts take precedent almost on everything in New York State at this point in time. We're lucky we don't have to deal with some of the other situations where we need to provide court security. The magnetometer at the door to check for, metal and stuff like that. But we've already lost one trial here because of the layout of the building and the way the defendant was being brought in and out and talking to witnesses. And we've had another situation where a suspect was paraded through a historical meeting. It just, by freeing up that one night a week, I don't think it's a heavy ask.
And I mean, and are we going to get an occasional arraignment like that was the situation? And again, it still should take precedence because we can't, I mean, not that people can't, they can certainly be here for the court, but you know, we have a procedure and a time frame, and we're under restraints ourselves. So, I mean, and it's not that we're trying to be difficult. It's just, I've had different organizations come and see me and upset that they can't be here and they don't understand why they can't meet here. And I guess I don't understand, you know, I mean, I gave somebody permission to use the fire hall. You know, I oversee the fire hall scheduling. They were able to give me a certificate of insurance. You can certainly meet there. I know they were extremely upset that they couldn't meet here. So, you know, Tara, Brittany and I kind of hashed it out, you know, and we kind of went back and forth. And so I guess I don't know what the procedure is. I know there's a calendar, but if I guess I don't want to rely on a calendar that Brittany or somebody has to go in.
Well, you just block out the calendar.
Can't we just block out Tuesday?
Yeah.
By a motion of the board, we can acknowledge that this is a courtroom first, meeting room second, and Tuesdays are to be no meeting scheduled in court time.
We need a motion. How long is it?
Okay, well, I want to clarify, we're talking every Tuesday, or are we talking,
It's every Tuesday.
Well, Tuesday, I mean.
or the third Tuesday?
Third Tuesday especially, but we also don't want to run into an issue where they might have the second Tuesday or the first Tuesday of the month. They've got a bunch of tickets coming in.
You know, I mean, our Tuesdays, you know, we usually are, I mean, especially this time of year, there's not much going on. We're out of here by, you know, 5:30, you know, we're here 5:30, 6 o'clock. I mean, so if somebody wants to come in and have a meeting at 6 or 6:30, we should certainly be out. But I mean, our concern is the third Tuesday,
Right,
especially now that we have Marcia, because Marcia always came down before. And there were times when we go till 7:30. Like I said, I know we've had issues where there's been a meeting next door, and I'm not faulting the meeting next door, but you get a lot of people around, and it's hard to, we've had to quiet them, and I just don't. And especially now with, if there's gonna be attorneys here, we really need to give them some place to meet.
And that's why every Tuesday needs to be done. And I say every Tuesday because you've got the early afternoon on the other Tuesdays. You've got the third Tuesday that you're gonna need later.
right, that's kind of where I was thinking, is that if court was moved to 4 or 5 or whatever, it would be done by the board meeting, unless a circumstance happened, and then we would have to deal with it.
Right, I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I say, like,
You know,
like I said, we're usually done by, I mean, I can remember a few times, maybe Dan has come in, we were just finishing up at 6 or 6:30.
Yeah.
But that's.
but you block out the third one for no
Entirely.
one, both rooms,
Both rooms.
you know, and then the other one, you'd have that room blocked out for the afternoon
Right,
of all of them, because you want that time where you're gonna have something going on. And if there's a special circumstance, then we gotta deal with it.
And, you know, I mentioned earlier the Barnstormers dinner. I believe the Barnstormers are one of the ones that you guys have given permission to go up and use
correct.
the fire hall. And I mean, any other organization that feels put out that has a certificate of insurance. And even if it's another town meeting, you know, an ad hoc, you know, meeting of the town, you know, we've got insurance. If they wanted to, they could go up and use the fire hall, I'm guessing. Depending on who they are.
No, like I said, I mean, they can certainly go up and use the fire hall, and it's not a problem as long as.
So are you able to capture that intent?
So I mean, I don't know, I guess I just don't want to have to rely on,
You're not gonna have to if we make this motion.
just if we could just say,
I'll make the motion.
Tim had already offered it, yeah, so then,
So where does it leave these rooms here? What is this whole, are these?
Over here,
Yeah. what-
that's their offices,
That's their chambers.
chambers.
That is their safe
So
place.
They're not useless.
Oh, no,
Oh,
no.
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 The file
Okay, so it's
in there.
support.
Correct.
They cannot be used for court.
Correct. It cannot be used for court. We used to use them when we first came up, because we used to be down in John's office. That's where the courtroom was. And so we used to have court down there, but then they shifted us up here. But with the transition of everything and the way now, the way the court, you know, OSC is, and, you know, it has to be apparent, you know, it has to be, the public has to be able to come in, it has to be open, it can't be like it's a closed door.
And
It has to be a certain size.
the justices have to have a safe place to leave to in case something happens. That's why there's a door up here now.
It has
They
to
had
be
to put in.
transparent, I guess, is the wording that they use.
There has to be an escape hatch.
We redid all the windows in that room. We redid the windows back here. There was a whole bunch, there was a safety doctrine they literally came down with, which is why this was created. To, you know, make it harder for somebody to attack the justice.
No, I mean, and that's why, you know, I know we've had the TV there, there was, you know, we have to move that, we can't have, you know, if they ever came in and that TV was there, somebody, you know, came in and audited us, that TV's there during court, I mean, the town would be in trouble. You know, we would be in trouble.
All right, we have a motion. Did we get a second?
Yeah,
I'll second it.
Second by JT. Discussion. Again, this is mainly to comply with the statutes that New York State has in for courts. And to set aside the time and location for court to be held. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Thank you, Georgia.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Can I ask a question? Was there a time frame on that or a day? I mean, the building's open.
What's gonna be blocked out, I believe would be,
I mean, I would say, you know, if we can block it out, you know, here on Tuesdays from, you know, I mean, I don't want to get into a blocking out a time because I don't want to be here and say, okay, well, we, from 6 to, you know, we'll be here from 4 to 6.
you're never here before 4, though.
What'd you say?
You're never here before 4.
Correct.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, so
But I don't want to say, okay, well, we'll be done by 6 o'clock and then you have, you know,
no,
an
you,
IABA meeting come in here and then at 6 o'clock, they're getting antsy and how, you know, because they start coming in at 5:45 and then somebody getting antsy and like, well, we were promised the meeting room at 6 o'clock.
I would say no meetings after 4 o'clock.
That's why I say I don't want to run into that. I don't want
Say
to cause
3
any
even.
issues. I just want
no, 4's fine.
They have to end by 4.
Yeah,
Will the mover and the seconder amend the motion?
Sure.
and that's both rooms.
That's both rooms.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't care about, you know, the other. You know, the only room that we're concerned with. Or is the third Tuesday, is that room there, so the attorneys.
Oh, see, okay, so that room, you don't have lawyers conversing on
I mean,
other
I
times.
can't say that we.
Well,
would.
That's why you can't say no.
I would,
There's too many, you gotta, you know,
I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm trying to.
We
do
want it
what's
set.
work.
Block it out.
I just,
We want it set so that it's not gonna step on anybody's toes in the future, and by doing that, it's either room after 4 o'clock on Tuesday.
Right, block it out and then if you have.
Okay,
it,
I mean,
you
like I
have
said,
it. You don't,
you know.
We have a motion and a second amended,
yes.
revote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so carried.
they still have 6 days a week
A-
and to do
And,
something.
and,
you know,
and the,
And
and the,
before 4 o'clock.
and hopefully the fire hall is available.
Right.
They still have the Tuesday just up till 4 o'clock.
And folks, this isn't,
Very
This-
rigid, you can't just go to the fire hall, you need over $1 million worth of insurance just walking in. Just telling you. So all these volunteer groups that are meeting on Tuesday, they're now out, just asking.
depends on whether they've got any coverage by the town hall and the town's insurance coverage too.
A question from someone on the Zoom call, I think,
Oh.
or maybe he's,
I'm not on Zoom. You're the host.
it's right. You can-
I'm not on Zoom.
Wait,
Oh,
Dan, did you want to say something or
Oh,
are
yeah.
you playing with the raise your hand button?
Oh, I was waiting until y'all discussion was finished. I don't know if y'all were done. I could bring up the next thing. for a public
Okay.
comment.
Perfect. You're next.
I don't know if this is the right time in the meeting to ask about, if you all had the opportunity to read my email about the upcoming DEC Smart Growth Grant due on January 31st. And we're able to digest that to see if the town of Inlet wanted to be a part of that joint grant application, and maybe what the town would like to go after in that particular grant round.
And,
I can
and
go into
this,
more detail, or
this can't be used for any of the things that we've got out there already that we want to get done.
I mean-
The parks and or pickleball and,
I told maybe the casino, I pulled that.
and
stuff out.
the casino fund.
Yeah, pulled all that.
so
You
it
got
would
some-
be, the grant recipient would be
I
the
wrote
town.
pickleball.
And so the Mohawk Valley Economic Development District would be the person that's coordinating this. So I mean, I think that if there's a grab bag of things that we think we would want to pick from, albeit the pickleball court, we're waiting on the response of a $40,000 grant ask for the park, Arrowhead Park Playground. And I did talk to Dave Scranton and Ted. I know that there was like a phase 2 of the mountain biking that there's like sort of semi-planned. I just wanted, I wanted input from the board as to what might be a $30,000 or $40,000-ish style project that the board would want to glom onto this grant ask for, and if there's somebody from the town that would help to bring this together. We need to talk with MVED and coordinate the application, receipt of funds, and make sure that whatever the plan is it's up to date. So there might be, even if some of these projects are semi ready, we may need a little bit more time to dust those off. And so we've got about a month and a half. I just wanted to kind of put it out there to see what y'all thought.
And this is the Mohawk Valley. Is this the economic region, not the North Country region? Is this part of the old governor's handout of the 10 areas of the state?
So this is a DEC Smart Growth Grant that's earmarked for both Adirondacks and the Catskills.
Okay.
So this particular collective grant, MVED sort of hopped on it and said, yep, we want to coordinate a collective application, because not a lot of towns have a $300,000 plus project laying around that they want to both create match funding for, or things of this nature. So they're looking to put together a grant of about maybe 8 or 10 projects in the North Country. So this, this is not divided by REDC district.
Okay.
They're doing the favor of essentially coordinating a multitude of projects, so that way there's a collective application big enough to like get beyond the minimum requirement, which is, I think, at 150,000, 200,000, something like that. It's a no match grant, so there does not require anything from the town, and it's not there's no bridge funding required as well. So it's a pretty low touch grant as far as that's concerned. It just would require basically the town board choosing a project, and then I can coordinate with MVED with you all, but then taking whatever that project is and making sure that it's in its most updated form.
We can't split that into 2 projects.
We could, yeah, I think we could talk about that if there was 2 smaller projects that we wanted to contribute.
Well, I'm just thinking if we're close to the finish line on the playground, if we could use some of the money towards the playground and the rest towards the mountain biking. I mean, those are things that can happen tomorrow.
I did take a look at what exists for the mountain bike layout. The only thing we would need to do is it's from 2021, so there's some outdated amounts as far as like the potential cost. And there's a couple things that aren't quite laid out in that, and so maybe somebody on the board or somebody else wants to go through that with me at some point here, and we can update what that plan is.
Mike, do we have anything on that? That'd be Dave Scranton.
I guess it would be Black.
Mike.
Yeah, I know phase 1 got done, and then
we did something with Corsani, our phase two.
Right,
I don't know if the guy that did that quote is willing to come back and do anything else soon.
right,
He's
and,
booked out for years. It's not like you can call him tomorrow.
and if we're doing this, some of this work in-house, because we've got other mountain bike stuff that we'd like to do in-house, are we allowed to spend the money that way?
Absolutely, yep.
What are your thoughts, Mike?
So
Any thoughts on?
I have a thought
you have a thought?
about canoe carry docking at the head of Fifth and Six Lake Boat or Six Lake Dam.
Can we put something together pretty quick on that design wise? Cause you know, it would be nice to have, something real there.
Cause I heard from a Six Lake resident that Black River, Hudson River is going ahead with the Six Lake Dam rehabilitation in 2024.
I believe it when I see it. Again, you need paperwork to submit for this in January though, correct?
Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah, the due date's
31st.
January. And MVED would like to start, they're gonna do some local visits probably just after the first of the year, so. You know, I guess we just have to kind of come through a decision as to what it is that we want to go after or what things we want to go after. And then I just need help from like a touch point within the town to ferry this across the river Styx here. Like,
Yeah.
And I'll do it with you. You don't have to do the work. I just basically need somebody who can kind of speak for the town, I guess.
Yes, and I again, I don't know if we've got enough time to put something together on the boat carries.
No, I know it's a short one.
But I think we should be able to update the information on the mountain biking. If there's other stuff we're doing in the in-house mountain biking stuff we want to do. There's a bunch of trail work we want to do back there, right? And don't get nervous. When I say between Mike and Dave Scranton, I think, and the Black Flag people, I think we should be able to come up with something for the mountain biking. And if it's not a total spend on that, maybe some of that can be put towards the playground, just so we can utilize it. And if that frees up some of the town money that we had committed maybe towards the playground, if that puts us over on the playground, can spend that elsewhere.
Do you have any other thoughts on any projects, Mike? No.
There's a lot of stuff to do.
I mean, that you could put together in a time frame.
Possibly, I'd have to look at my long list of projects I want to get done
Yeah.
and see what I have pricing for already.
Just curious, you know,
But I mean, nothing honestly to that small of a task.
but if you combine it all,
Well, I mean, pickleball courts are 120,000.
Yeah, no,
Right.
no.
The refrigeration system at Fern is $300,000.
right,
I mean, new sidewalks is $50,000. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
There is also the option, and if the town of Inlet wanted to do their own grant and get that prepared before the January 31st deadline, we could go after a much larger ask. I mean, we could go after a $250,000 ask. I guess it would just depend on, it would just probably require a little bit more work on the town's part, on my part, to coordinate getting this together, because you wouldn't have, MVED stepping in to write it collectively for a group of projects. And I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that. I just, again, would need to know what you all want to go after for a larger grant like that.
What engineer plans for anything other than a playground?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we've got in right now is one bid from 2 years ago on the pickleball.
Yeah.
I would say the safe one would be to go after some mountain bike money and playground money, quite
Well,
honestly.
Well, because the other thing, I don't know how this affects, but if you try to go for a bigger ask, is it an all or nothing operation?
Right, I mean,
And so then you get kicked out because you tried to ask for too much, where if you, the things you need
right now,
and you ask for it, maybe you get it, right? I don't know.
I think right now the faucet's kind of on, so I don't think it's really, I think you go for what you think you need. You know, I don't think you censor yourself. If you want to go for a $250,000 chiller, you go for it. If you want to go for a $30,000 mountain bike expansion, you go for it. I think, it's kind of what you think you need.
As long as you can do it in the time frame.
Do they have a plan for the mountain bike expansion?
Well, that,
From 2001.
it's just gotta be updated.
And I did reach out to Ted and Dave just to ask for assistance, kind of in updating it, and I just haven't heard anything yet.
Okay.
I just don't want us to wait too long, get through the holidays. We're in the 3rd of January, 5th of January, and we don't take a swing at it.
How short are we on the playground now?
I'm waiting on results of a $40,000 grant I put in. I think we've raised 18,000. We should find out on that grant probably the end of the year whether or not we got that. So that would put us pretty much over the hump.
Right, but if we don't get it, there's still time to drop that in on this joint application.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay,
What do we commit to?
yeah,
10,000.
10,000. So I would say we keep that in the quiver and we keep pushing Dave and Ted to see if we can get some updated figures on the mountain biking. Those are, to me, they seem like doable things in the short time frame.
Okay, then I'll keep you all updated if I hear anything further about them with updating that.
Sounds good.
And then on that note, sorry to hog the whole conversation. I did send out an email to just touch base with anybody that was on the 2021 Fern Park master plan to see if anybody had any designs on wanting to kind of like bring that a little bit further and update it. I didn't know if the board had any thoughts about that, if they wanted to put together that committee or continue to work to fill that plan in. It's a good skeletal structure of what exists, but I didn't know if there was a desire from the board to like flesh that out into something more equivalent to the Arrowhead master plan.
It would be nice to do. Was that the one that Wendell the Sheriff completed for us? Or was that the grant? That was the other one.
The master plan was long before one to share.
Right.
So, but he put,
Master plan, we just gave to you, what, 2 or 3 years ago?
Right. That was that was an update. Yeah. I'd like to push that forward. I'd still like to add a couple of things that were in the old Wendell the Share plan too. But we're gonna need, we need a lot of donated money in order for that to happen. Chief amongst them is the casino building project, the kayak storage on the boardwalk, and a dry picnic area or performance area on the second floor that looks like what's on the historical.
It was outrageous at the time. The concrete work alone was just mind blowing.
The concrete work was unbelievable, and Gaetano was the only one that bid on it, I
Yeah,
think.
that's right.
And they were 2.5, 3 times the engineer specs.
Outrageous. It's gotta be more now. I mean, that was wild.
Kind of lose your faith in the engineering specs when you see that. This is not the first time we've been through it either.
Well, I've got another one that'll blow your mind on that one in a little bit. All right, yes, short answer.
Okay, thank you.
And anything else for public comment?
Yeah, I'd like to encourage conversation with regards to how things are progressing or not with regards to the snowmobile permit with Town of Webb. Look, let's all talk about where we're at, when it started, how things are moving along, what needs to be done, where we're at money wise, where we're gonna be at money wise next year. So that we're all on the same page. Going back to when you guys originally got the first letter last year.
We've met with the,
How things continued after the meeting back in the springtime. And ultimately where we're at right now.
as of last week, we're at a complete standstill. I had a conversation with a supervisor down in the Town of Webb. It did not go well. She was rather rude to me on the phone. When I asked for another meeting, I've been asking for over 3 months for a joint meeting of 1, 2, 3 council people, myself, her, to sit down and talk about it again. Anybody that went to the meeting, the joint meeting we had in Webb last year, she could barely contain her disdain for us being there. I don't know what's going on, what caused that. Point blank, she told me we're not getting any more money. They issued us a check for $50,000, which is $34,000 short of what they owe us off of the 14% split
Last year.
from last year's sales, never mind moving forward. At the root of this, where their problem came in is year after year, they don't understand how to divvy out the revenue when it goes in over the line down there.
Yeah, but is any of that our concern?
Yeah, because we're not getting our money.
Yeah, well, their end of the money is none of our business.
We have what could be considered a non-binding contract that had moved forward for over 30 years. You know, depending on which lawyer you ask, it's binding, it's not binding. Depending on how you ask, you get the answer from the lawyer you want to get. I went to our lawyers, which are the same firm that they use, and asked for something last spring. I got told unless they were willing to sit down at the same time, it wouldn't happen. After my phone call with the supervisor in Webb, was it last Monday?
Yeah,
Wednesday?
Tuesday or Wednesday.
All of a sudden I get an email from the law firm. The law firm is asking both towns to sit down together on a conference call. Both lawyers, the lawyer Riefenbach that works for them, Mike Hill that works, and their Schachner, Hafner, a bunch of others, they are willing to act as an arbitration board, but that takes both town boards willing to sign off on what they say is right. Because their law firm can't issue an opinion against us. Our law firm can't issue an opinion against them because it's the same damn law firm. But the unique benefit of this is the fact that if we're willing to say, all right, we're going to sit down, all the cards on the table. This is what we feel the basis is for. This is mileage. This is equipment. This is what we spend. This is what the revenue is. We still think the 14% is justified, blah, blah, blah. Quite honestly, in looking at the spends, the equipment, we're probably closer to a 22 to 25%. We'd be happy with the 14%. We spend what we bring in. Some years it's 25,000 over, under. It depends on how the permit sales go as far as to whether or not we're made whole on gas, equipment, man, machine, insurance, FICA, the whole 9 yards. I know for a fact in Webb, they're getting more money in than they spend on snowmobiling.
So how much are we short now for this past?
$34,000.
34,000.
Actually, let me take that back. Of the 14% of permits sold, 34,000. As of our the $50,000 check they gave us and the amount of sales we had here were $7,000 or $8,000 short of our budget revenue line. That will probably still put us at a shortfall on our expenses.
So it's, for the time being, from what you're telling me, the numbers aren't earth shattering as of right now. However, the future.
For this year.
Not this
Yeah,
And
well, which is actually the winter of 22-23.
Right.
now,
So now the more upsetting part is now 23-24, because let's face it, there's, you know,
there's more to
getting worse.
there's more to the story.
Yeah, okay.
The update on all of this is
Go ahead.
the origin of the problem and the dysfunction is the fact that the online sales took off and the online bank account is Webb's. Okay, the online processing for the past couple of years have been growing more and more in Webb, and we've been processing less and less here and banking less and less here. You go back far enough, there were 4 or 5 years where we were open at night. They weren't. There was no online sales. I'm talking 20 years ago. We were issuing them checks at the end of the year because we were taking in more money. And I can tell you, when I first sat on the board, we were going, geez, you know, we ought to be why are we sending them money? the same exact thing they're saying now. But the amount of money that we were sending them versus the amount of money they're not sending us, it's not inequitable. There's a new permit program out right now. Our information office, Adele, has successfully talked to the information office and Webb and said, we understand you've been processing too many permits. Can we please process more? From what I understand from one of the council people in Old Forge, he made the comment that, oh my gosh, all of a sudden Inlet's processing a ton more permits,
25%.
25.
but we're not going to give you any more money.
But we weren't allowed to before them.
Well, and
Get in the system.
this,
That's-
and
That's what
the rub on this is it's a brand new software. We had asked for 3 or 4 things in the new software to where, hey, every dollar that comes in, 86 cents goes this way, 14 cents goes this way. Or if it's being processed here, deposit it in our bank account, give us our snowmobile account. None of those were taken into consideration. It's very disheartening to see a new program down there that's really technically not a new program. I'm hoping some of this comes out in the talks between the two towns or whatever. There are so many easy ways to answer this, but if there's always been a rub down in Webb that we don't do night grooming. There's always been a rub down in Webb that we're Inlet. Webb's trails are so much better. We have the Moose River Plains. We have some interior trails here. We've got access to Long Lake and Indian Lake. We have some things to add to the table. I still think it's equitable for the 14%. I'm hoping the lawyers will make that case for us, both lawyers and the town board down there will see if we're putting more permits up here and it's not a heavy draw on their office. That removes one of the big factors.
So you're saying lawyers, what lawyers?
The same law firm that we both use, Miller, Shackner, Hafner.
Is this the route that we want to take?
It's the
we're
route.
advised right now.
Right now, that's a less expensive route than suing them and demanding the money. If we sue them, we've got to go to outside counsel. We can't use our counsel and they're not going to be able to use their counsel. And then we're wasting taxpayer money. This is the last step at, can we come to an understanding together? We thought we were going to get that out of the joint meeting last year, but leaving that meeting, it was highly evident that wasn't going to happen.
And if we were to do the arbitration thing, which is, I kind of agree is a good first step, but we can't get there. We don't have to accept what they say, do we?
It depends on whether both lawyers asked both town boards to sign off on a binding agreement.
For this year now. I wouldn't want to go further than that.
Generally speaking, if you go to arbitration, you're bound by what the arbitrators decide.
Correct.
But we could limit it to just this year that we're trying to sort out
The
now.
money we're trying to get back and come out of it with a new contract.
That way, if it's really not that advantageous to us, we can just bail.
But to me,
For the next year.
we're not gonna get a good contract.
System this year.
We're not gonna get a good contract to move forward if we can't answer the question on last year.
Right.
So we have to start with answering the question on last year.
How much did we sell in permits last year? Anybody have an idea?
I haven't, not either.
I'd say the data's in here somewhere.
It's in her March report, but I had it in that email. Let me see. It would be her March report. Or April of last year. It was in her April.
Yeah,
report.
April report.
Yeah.
You
So it was,
were there already?
no, I'm trying to get into the email.
I could text her and ask.
No, I'm digging up all my agendas. From March of last year,
No, April.
April of last year.
Yep.
I'm sorry. So that would have been on the May. Information April report.
No, I think.
I get it right here.
I
You
think-
said April, I just opened April.
Yeah, okay, I thought you were going into May.
The April report is in my May folder for the May meeting. It's not on the April report.
You said it was an April report. That's where I got.
Might not give it to you in May because the program had crashed in
Mhm.
March and they never brought it back online.
Right.
So, 21-22 was 795 permits sold by this office.
Sales from Inlet only. 2022, 795, 21, 970, they're all around 1,000 or whatever. You go back to 03 where we were 2,400, 2,500, 2,400, 1,800.
Before that,
Those are the years we were sending them money.
and before online sales.
And before, right.
Yeah.
Allowed to do.
Yep.
Right.
There's no way we can compete and
And-
we're not allowed to make
And
games.
then in,
Tables have turned.
and then in
What we
05,
have this year though is.
But they changed the game.
Cash, check or your,
In person.
your blah, 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 law, Lawrence and Swiper thing.
Yeah.
in 05, they started opening their information center at night and it dropped off by 600. And actually, that might have been 11. It dropped down to 1,100. That might have been when online sales had started.
Yeah, but it was okay when we were sending them money all these years.
Yes,
You know what I
like you say,
I don't
you
mean,
show them the data, I don't know how they can argue.
one at a time. What's our,
So the only thing that's gonna help us out for this year that we're in right now, 23, 24 is to sell as much as we can.
sell as much as we can and then process as many as we can even. That helps with the argument moving forward to a new contract. But getting to that new contract, we've got to answer last year's money issue. They want to come up with something. I'm just trying to, what would they possibly say to their lawyers? Well, we were doing all the processing. We want a processing fee. Well, fine, as long as that doesn't hurt the 14% moving forward. I get the fact that they had a labor issue down in their office processing them all to a certain
We're doing
extent.
25% now, with only 2 employees there.
Actually,
I was gonna say, do the math on that.
I said I get to a point that they had a
so
labor.
we're doing more work and getting less money.
Yes,
Plus,
Almost none, right?
plus the new program allows now for people to do their own data input, correct? On the
Mhm.
online sales.
Mhm.
Before they had to take what came in and redo it all over. So they're saving a lot more work down there.
They are, but they could have been saving a lot more work if.
Years ago, if they would have fixed it.
No, even with this new program.
If they
it
went
still
with the
didn't go
program
far
that
enough.
Denny's guy had, it was
But
perfect.
you can almost guarantee yourself that they're not gonna cut you that $50,000 check next.
Well, the problem, we can't bail in the middle of the snowmobile season. But we have to have,
Late to bail now,
yeah,
guys.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So,
we're stuck
so
here,
we're
yeah.
gonna do whatever we gotta do this year to make it through this thing. But in April, if we don't have a plan going forward, we are gonna come up with a new plan. At least I'm gonna come up with a new plan.
Moving forward, $50,000 is the money they want to give us.
Right.
They want a set amount of money. Moving forward, $50,000 was a set amount of money. And that would be okay if we started depositing more money up here. But I can't guarantee we're gonna deposit more money up here because of the way the online sales are processed.
So 50,000 on top of what you sell, or just 50,000 total?
So 50,000 on top of what we
what
sell.
So if you sell $70,000 worth of permits, you owe them 20 grand?
No.
No.
They wanted a set number. This goes back to the previous supervisor, Dave Bergstresser. Okay, and I believe Mike Ross was pushing for this too. At budget time, they hated the fact that this weird number, all of a sudden they had to cut this check and it was over the amount of money that they would plan to give us. They had a number in their budget for this. This is the share. Holder in your budget. That's what ours is. Are we gonna stop collecting money after $117 in our budget? No. We're still gonna take the money if
If we get it,
the sales are there.
we don't know.
They wanted to have a static number and stick to it.
they have one, 14%.
Mhm.
No, that's not a static number. That's a percentage.
Can you imagine doing sales tax? Somebody's gonna enlighten them people.
I don't mean to belabor this all night long. I get your frustration. Trust me, I'm 5 times as frustrated. And
Sounds like they got budgeting issues.
if
big
you
time.
don't understand numbers, you can't understand how that fits into the budget. And I tried explaining it to people down there 6 ways to Sunday. I'm a numbers guy. I was budget guy at the school, budget guy here, budget guy at the county. It just numbers make sense to me. And the fact that a revenue that's an unknown is an unknown doesn't compute for them. It just doesn't compute.
Doesn't she sit on the county board down there?
No,
Pat Russell.
no,
sits
they
on
don't do
county
that.
board.
They don't do that?
Legislatures.
We don't have that.
So.
That will
And,
help.
and what infuriates me is the fact that this is a joint trail permit. And they're treating it as a web trail permit. That's my last statement that I.
And throwing us a bone.
And throwing us a bone. And that's the thing,
Yeah.
And I've said it to them. I'll say it here. If that's gonna be the process moving forward, then maybe we go to a free trails up here.
Yeah, I mean, like Herb says, we need to, keep our nose to the grindstone and do the best we can this year with our sales. But we need to come up with a plan come
Yeah.
April, May.
Come April, May, so that we can
We
give
can't
them plenty of
break-
notice to tell them what's
We
gonna
need to
happen.
Come up with a plan.
Yeah.
No, and my last statement is, if they're not spending all the snowmobile money down there. And they have an issue with sending money our way for the percentage. Then they need to lower the permit cost. I'm sick of them using gross revenues off of snowmobile permit sales. To augment something at the ski hill or someplace else in town. It's a permit for snowmobiling. And if you're not spending on snowmobiling, then we need to cut that permit price. If it's gonna stay a joint permit. And we still need to get our money. $1 million plus in permit sales. And they have an issue with us getting $170,000 total.
All right, to be continued.
To be continued. Thanks for bringing it to the forefront. And I apologize to the taxpayers in Inlet that it's still dragging on, but we're being held hostage. Anything else for public comment? Dan, are you still there on Ampian? Do you have a contract yet?
No, he thought he would get it to me Monday or Tuesday, but I haven't seen it yet.
Is it Brian?
He called me Monday and he thought he would be able to get it out Monday, but he doesn't do it. Another department does it.
'Cause I'm itching to sign up.
Yeah, when, I know Dan put this together, we'll start, doing a campaign here,
Okay.
probably, in January, and pushing it, and there's like 15 people plus that are already wanting to sign up, and yeah, if you can get 8 to 10% off on your electric bill, then it's all good, and again, the money that we get goes to the town to do for the project, so it's a win-win for sure.
Is it past the 10%? Have we gone past that time, right? Was there a timeline on that?
I think, I don't know if Dan's still on there, but it should be around the 10%.
He's got himself muted. He must be doing paperwork.
Sorry, I was just letting Connie finish. Yeah, we're still good to go. We can, you can start signing up right now. They're working on the specific inlet landing page, but if you go to ampian.org, you can start signing up today. I'd say it takes about 5-10 minutes you got to put your National Grid information in, where your account is held. And they got to take a picture or upload a version of your latest bill. But you can start signing up today. So please do for your business. And if we can get over the 10, that'll give the town $5,000. And there was just some info that NYSERDA is dropping a lot of money for these ongoing community campaigns. And so the scuttlebutt is by 2024, there's going to be more money out there for more signups. So we're placed well to have an ongoing campaign, and my guess is that they'll double or triple the payouts for signups. So start going, because it's only going to benefit the town.
And still, we could go back to the unspoken document we had before, where we had to have so many people. At that point, it was only 5 people sign up to do either an energy audit and or put mini splits or, an electric system in, could be ground or, or air system in. And if we get, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but, if we got 10 people to do that again, that would give us another, round of money for Inlet.
Correct. Yeah, the next step would be 10 folks, and I think that's another 10,000.
So there's lots of opportunity here. Once we get things rolling and people go, oh, wow, I can save money, I can be more environmentally friendly. We go back to step one and do it again. And if we get more people to do this, after we get the first $5,000, yes, there'll be more money for the town again to do other projects.
Very good.
Which we could spend on splits for the lower town hall we discussed,
Yes, we got more to the information office.
down below, yeah, Donnie's office, you're on.
So you guys, utilize the $5,000 for, the mini splits from the first grant?
We got the grants, but we haven't.
We
installed them yet.
haven't installed them yet.
Okay.
That it? Communications. Well, we got one bid in on the shelter for the top of the hill. $398,000. Which should have been $125,000 to $165,000. And that's, we can't blame the engineers on this one, but this is purely you wanted us to submit a bid. Okay, we're gonna submit a bid. This is a no thank you bid all the way.
What is it, bomb shelter?
They're concrete structures. They come pre-wired, they come preheated electric, they dropped on site, you hook up your stuff to either side and run your wires inside and load your racks. Everything's ready.
Size, so it's like a 10 by 20 building.
Actually, this is a 12 by 30.
Yeah.
Gotta have enough room in it for Herkimer, Hamilton, town and all the stuff. There's a 10 by 20 available in Texas that's coming off of a Sprint site that's 10 years old. $25,000 to get it craned and trucked here. Not craned here, but craned off site onto a truck there and trucked here.
That's the shipping.
That's the shipping and
total amount.
that's the total amount to get it up off the ground and get it here.
How much for the unit?
If we can have it for free,
If we want to
if we're
bring it,
gonna bring, because nobody's
25
using these
$12.
structures anymore. They're coming in and they're doing rack mounted cabinets and stuff like that on a literally.
yeah, sold.
And that will.
What do you want me to leave with the truck?
When's the next person gonna be in Texas? They want us to do a site visit before we sign off on spending $25,000 of town money. Even if we have to get this and then we build our own addition, if we run out of space.
I'll be in Texas in April, but that's, I mean.
Well, let's put it this way, we're not gonna truck it here and move it up there, but I think somebody should go look at it. They literally said, buy somebody a plane ticket, run them a card, give them a hotel room and a per diem and send them out there to take a look at it. It's worth $3,000 for you to take a look at it.
That would meet our criteria.
Yeah, so I would basically need, and I would love to go do that because things with my wife, there's no way I can do it.
But they don't need that anymore.
No, it's
Why do we need it and they don't need it anymore?
because they're not using these structures anymore. When they,
So why are we getting one? That's what I'm getting.
Well, they're upgrading. Yeah.
Okay, that's, okay, that explains, that's what I was looking for.
if you take a look at what's up on Corsani's Hill right now for AT&T, I mean, it would fit on that wall.
Verizon, same thing.
Yeah, Verizon went up on top behind the, but we've got to have rack and racks. And the probably 1/3 of the space inside is going to be for the combining equipment. It's so that we don't step on.
180-foot tower, which we could have put plenty of antennas.
And part of this no thank you bid is the fact that they don't like where we are. They don't want to come and install it. They don't want to come and service it. They don't want to energize it. They don't want to do anything. And
Who's responsible gets here to crane it off or whatever? Is it?
we would be then.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
We
I
didn't
do
go
a
with general
trillion
contract.
drive off.
We do, but we're still gonna be well under, even if we have to retrofit this and replace some stuff, you know, the heating, cooling, whatever. And from what I've understood, for the amount of equipment we're gonna have in this, cooling is gonna be more of an issue than heating will be an issue. There's also a 12 by 20 here for 350,000. So that sounds a hell of a lot more reasonable than 398,000. You know, this is the third time we've gone out to bid on this, and this is the first bid we've actually gotten
We
back.
can't hire a mason just to pour one on site. I mean,
I know,
the
it seems,
foundation is all it really is.
Then you gotta engineer it, you gotta have, getting one of these here that's ready to go, even if we have to do a little bit of work on it, is a lot easier to pay for than building trust me, than building your own. Anybody remember building the sewer plant?
25,000 or something.
No, I like this. I like this
You're
plan.
not gonna build it for that.
When do you want me to fly out?
Well, first and foremost, my ask is for a not to exceed amount of $4,000 to handle travel expenses to get somebody out there and back, because I don't know. Getting to this part of Texas might not be a direct flight in the whole 9 yards.
Oh, yeah, you don't know where in tech. I mean, you know.
Big state.
Could I also, possibly think about sending an engineer, a local engineer there to take a look at it instead of,
That's a good.
no offense to anybody on board or even the people that are in the loop to possibly get.
Hire a firm to do it.
There's no engineers here that I'm aware of.
The $4,000 ask would hopefully cover that.
Right, bring them with.
Yeah.
Understood.
I'll offer it.
I'll second it.
Discussion, again, this is just to check out this shelter that's available for free in Texas.
And this meets the specs and criteria,
If-
foundation set on, how does that work?
It's a little small, but it's doable from what we've been told. We don't know if it meets the specs and criteria until, like Denny said, you have an engineer. There may be some upgrades that need to be done to it, but the engineer will be able to tell us that.
Yeah, he'll be able to tell you what you need to do to it and then to give you a final number. And if your final number comes in at $75,000, all in, all done, you're still a lot better than 295.
Yeah.
Or
What if
whatever
you
that.
hire an engineer out and by
That's
where
what
the,
Danny's saying, but hire an engineering firm.
out there, I mean, instead
Yeah,
of
to
bringing
go.
him there.
I would love,
Instead of bringing him.
like Denny's idea, I would love to have one of our engineers go check it out, because they're the ones that are going to be approving everything.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
they would be on the hook with
It
their
it
insurance,
would, it would be absolutely fine.
there's an admission in the whole 9 yards.
Yep, go for it. Get it.
All in favor?
They
Aye.
should have a tractor trailer license too. Anyway.
Everyone.
Opposed? So carried. All right. The other thing that supposedly was happening was, National Grid finally showed up to try and do some power on site. They put 4 poles in. I guess they actually did go up the hill and tried to do some stuff. And, they discovered frozen water in the pipes and couldn't snake anything through. I believe the head contractor for Tarpon has decided to leave the site and, won't be back until spring. And they've done this 4 weeks ago, they would have been able to pull their wire.
Yep.
All right, planning board, comprehensive master plan, 5-year update. If still asking people to take a look at their areas and get back to the planning board, please. I believe Ron Johnson, I know I've seen the email across my desk, has gotten some stuff back in and they're still asking for more. Anything else from planning board, possibly?
Main focus right now.
Good thing to be focused on. Assessor codes, parks, building, everything's in the budget, or not budget, in the agenda attached. Mike's here. Mike, anything you want to highlight and bring up?
So I just want to thank the Lutz family again for the beautiful Christmas tree up front. Also want to thank Sean for letting us borrow some equipment to get the Christmas lights on the street, and Chip and Patrick for helping us also with the lights and that beautiful Christmas tree. Other than that, just hoping for some more snow and cold weather. We've been trying to make ice, just we need some more colder days in a row. We got our old roller working today, so we went through and packed down all the trails in Fern Park. Hopefully tomorrow it's supposed to be really cold to get some of the wet spots to freeze in. Then as soon as we get some more snow, we'll start doing regular grooming.
How bad were the trails with the heavy snow? You have to cut your way through?
No, I walked the whole park yesterday with Frank behind me in the side by side and probably picked up 10,000 branches. Only had a chainsaw 2 trees, so
Okay.
that was pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Cause Chip says the plains is a mess.
I bet. Yeah, it was way worse than I expected. I expected a lot of big trees down, but it was all just branches. Luckily. Lots of.
I'd like to highlight one thing you put in your report, the fact that you and Patrick went to, sewer school and excelled
Sure did.
and did very well over some of the young guys that were there. Not to say that you guys aren't young guys compared to me, you are.
Well, yeah, it was extremely hard. Not what I expected. We learned a lot. And going to class with everyone else in that class does it full time. That's their job. And for just over 50% of the class to pass, and we were 2 of them we're happy.
Yeah.
That's huge kudos to both of you.
Yes,
And your one comment you made to me, you now understand how special the plant we have is.
It is, I mean, to have a new plant that's mostly automated. We visited a couple plants and it's scary. We are, I would not want to work at some of these other places.
Yeah.
They're doing 10 million gallons a day, we're doing this time of year 5 or 6 thousand.
And that takes me back to the engineer comment from earlier. Yes, that was also another project where the bids came in way higher. Not from our local contractor. Is he here? Yeah. But he wishes his bid had been higher. I know that for a fact, right?
I don't think anybody made money on that job.
No, nobody made money on that job, but we wouldn't have gotten it if we hadn't been, the timing fell into place on that and the amount of money we're paying back on that is a pittance for what we actually have up there. We're extremely lucky to have it. And
I
now,
might not ever get that lucky again.
well, no, and now we've got 2 more people in town that fully understand why I get so excited about talking about that plant.
Well, we're not done yet. You still have to take 2 more classes and take a state certification test. So there's more work to be done, but the hard classes out. Perfect.
I mean, we are putting clean water back into that channel. There's no algae growth, there's no nitrous loading down there. Who was just telling me the bacteria count they did in the channel is lower than it's ever been. It's best spot in the chain is below that outfall. So the plant works. Bottom line. Good job.
Thanks for doing that.
I just got a winter schedule down here. I don't know if you wanted. You're gonna be grooming if you can.
Yeah, we'll be here working 7 days a week.
You have the highway department's
I do.
report?
Hauled garbage and recyclables, plowed and sanded roads, parking lots and sidewalks. Got their truck back from Utica Mac, dressed it up and put it right to work. New tires on the 1-ton. Thank you to the town of Long Lake for coming down and hooking up their computer to our Western Star truck. So they could let the tech know the codes that they could hopefully bring the right parts for them to fix it. Put the sander on the 1-ton, put the wing on the 205. Pulled Fourth Lake Boat Launch dock with assistance from the New York State DEC. Coming up, they're gonna haul garbage and recycle and plow and sand roads, parking lots and sidewalks. Transfer station, open 4 days a week, closed Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday. They're open from 8 AM to 11:45 AM and then 1 to 6:45. Closed from 12 to 1 daily for lunch. Transfer station is neat and orderly. That's it.
That's both highway and transfer station. I'm guessing if the transfer station is neat and orderly, that was a short report.
Yep.
Town clerk's report. You get to keep going.
Okay, I'm just trying to pull up the parks one too, I mean, the trails one. The only few things I have is we need to think about, I guess we don't need to know who the people are until organizational meeting, but regarding the New York City, yes.
Association of Towns.
Yes, thank you.
Who's gonna be the
Who's gonna be our
designee?
first and delegate, and then who's going and who isn't going. I think Brittany, Georgia left, so I think Brittany was thinking about.
They've got
if
court
they had
classes
some
again?
Court classes, she was interested in it.
I don't think they have any parks classes, do they?
Sure, it depends on-
Seen anything yet. I really haven't seen what they have yet. I have to go online, I think, to see what they have for classes. So I'll check into that and I guess reach out to whoever wants to go to that. The other thing we have to look into that I was asked to look into was the local law for the, maybe possibly passing a local law for the firefighters' real property tax exemption.
Like
This is
copies
Old
of it?
Forges. No.
I know Amy said in her report that she had it, but she didn't give me, I wanna see what it says.
If you
There you
get
go.
enough, well, hang on, why don't you send us all a copy of that, please?
Okay. Well, you're not gonna do that anyway till organizational, right?
Right,
I
but
mean,
if,
nobody's gonna
if
do it.
Well, yeah,
if you
we're
could send us an early
Yeah,
copy of
I
that.
just got
It
that.
ain't gonna
yeah, so-
happen that fast. I don't think,
No, okay.
unless we just completely copy and paste what exactly
have
they
that?
did.
Yes,
which
you
I'd
have
like
Which
to
is what
do.
they did for somebody else.
I understand, but I have like a gazillion questions as to how it
Gazillion?
works. Yes,
That's a lot of questions.
it is a lot. So,
So that's it for me, because you have that, okay, you have that one,
Mhm.
and then I will have a trail one when you get to that.
When I get to that,
Trail department? is that
Oh,
one? Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
all right. Like I had it on here, setting the meeting with the town's attorney and Webb. I'm waiting to see what date the attorneys and Webb are, I'm willing to meet online anytime. Police position. I have a resolution here. New hire. Inlet Police Officer Nathan Jenkins. Whereas Officer Christopher Sheen has left the town of Inlet, causing a need for a full-time officer. Whereas Town of Inlet needs to hire a full-time police officer to fill the vacancy. Whereas Chief Johnston is trying to fill the position with a lateral transfer of an experienced police officer. I think that says or, and it shouldn't say
Or.
of.
Well, he said it's
Or
gotta be
off.
a lateral or an experience.
Okay.
I don't know.
Whereas the town board does plan that this position will be full-time and duties and qualifications set forth by the chief of police at Hamilton County Civil Service. Therefore, be it resolved that Nathan Jenkins be hired starting on, I still say January 1st.
I didn't know any of the dates or anything or any of the details, so that's why.
How do we pass a resolution without?
No, I
any-
figured you guys knew that stuff. I don't know.
January 1st.
Okay,
And, he didn't give you the rate?
no,
And
No.
Rate to be determined,
okay,
to be determined.
okay. I know you guys threw out a
Yeah.
few figures, but yeah.
And that he be hired for probationary period of, we allowed to do probationary periods for police officers still?
I thought you guys talked about it, exactly.
Yeah, I know. 6 months.
6 months, okay.
Anybody willing to make that motion?
I'm offering it.
I'll second it.
Discussion, the to be determined on the salary rate is to be in line with what Webb's doing for pay as we've done in the past. We always want to make sure that we're on par. Sometimes we wind up being a little bit over with cost of living if there doesn't fall. within
Well, I
their-
think right now, if you go to the Amtech scale, we're over them.
I think we are too.
Just
So
because of the cost
that
of
may,
living.
that may change, but
Yeah.
we're gonna go by our Amtech scale.
But, and the reason I say to be determined is they still have not set their,
Yeah.
their contract down there. They're in 4 to 5, 6, 7 month long negotiations.
Yes, that is correct.
All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? So carried. Organizational meeting, we'd had conversations about combining the first meeting and the organizational meeting.
That's what I would love to do.
I wanted to make sure that was the,
I mean,
is that
we
okay?
have to have the organizational meeting anyway. So why not have the board meeting that also then, was my
and you're looking at the second,
second, yes.
so we would be holding the meeting earlier. Combining it with the organizational meeting.
That's what I'm thinking.
Anybody have an issue? We always try and meet the first two
Tuesday the second,
to set our organizational so we can do business as the town of Inlet.
yes. And then we did and we've done this in the past.
Yes.
We didn't do it last year, but other years we've done it in the past. to combine the two instead of having two meetings.
You wanted to do it differently, so I wasn't around.
Well, last year?
I was in the hospital with my wife.
Yes, well, that wasn't the plan though.
No,
You were away.
all right.
You want a motion for that?
Motion to set the organizational meeting for the second.
Yeah.
And to combine with a regular meeting.
Offered.
Second,
Discussion. That's two meetings, same night. There will be no meeting on the 9th of January. That will be held on the second.
What time?
what time?
Same time.
Same time. 7:15 for chit chat, 7:30 to start the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? So carried. Trail Department, you have something for the Trail Department?
It's back on my calendar. Trail Department, he finished putting up snow fence, put up the signs, built new trail behind the old barn to get rid of the hill back there. Finished fixing the old groomer, put tracks on the side by side and started grooming to get a jump on it. That's it.
He also told me today that replacement tracks that we got, the rubber part a couple years ago have already started to split and fray. And he's been in contact with the supplier and it looks like they're gonna stand by them and possibly issue us new ones for them.
Warranty them?
There is no warranty on that kind of a part, but they're saying that they failed way too soon, so they're gonna possibly cover it. He's working that angle big time.
This is on the groomer this time, I think.
Groomer,
Groomer we did.
yeah,
Couple years ago.
Yep. groomer.
They were pricey.
And he's also done some work on the axles. There's a kit that you can use to fix the axles. So that they don't wear out as fast or whatever, and he's hoping the next time there's metal to go to Utica that he can take that down so that he can bring some stock metal back. He's phenomenal with configuring stuff in that shop.
Mhm.
So he's got my support on that. Like my mantra, summer staffing needs, lifeguards, we'll train you. We'll hopefully people house them. Connie, you got extra room? Put some lifeguards over there?
I've done that before, and I'm not fond of.
All right, all right. Peter's got room. Last public comment?
I noticed you just scheduled a meeting for a Tuesday. Didn't we say that we couldn't have meetings here on Tuesday?
It's late enough. We were told it was late enough. Town board meetings don't fall under that, and it's not the third Tuesday of the month.
So it's from 4 to 6 on every other Tuesday.
Technically 4 to 6. She didn't want to be locked in on the 6 o'clock, but she said that was, nothing after 4. We're flying in the face of the regulation we just made, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, the one we
You affected
have.
a lot of people when you said that. A lot of meetings.
I
It's a public building, you shut out all the people from using.
pick another day of the week. I've asked to have the town board meetings moved to a different day of the week, quite frankly. When it became an issue with the courts, I said, let's move it to Wednesday or Thursday. Mondays were the fire, there's always a conflict.
I remember one of the times you bringing it up.
I tried to get it moved off Tuesday. Quite honestly, I think there's too much going on Tuesdays. And if we moved ours to a different day, I could go down to the web town board meetings. There's other meetings that go on. There was a huge benefit to that. I'd be willing to hold the organizational meeting on the 3rd. And I don't mean to make a joke about that. I'm with you. I wanted us to be on another night.
I just want to make sure you understand it's a
Oh,
serious thing with.
I totally do. That's why I was hoping that the fire hall or there's an alternate spot to do it. We're not set up. The court made it perfectly clear to us that this is a lousy location to do court. And we've been trying to make it work ever since. Short of putting an addition on so that we have 2 meeting rooms for attorneys and clients. That's about where we're at.
That grant money from Kieferbach, what's that cover?
Yeah, go ahead. We've talked about additions for here. All right, before this gets out of the way, nothing for executive session. Motion to pay highway,
So moved.
Second.
discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion to pay general and sewer,
Offered.
Second.
discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 See everybody on the 2nd. And hopefully I can get an engineer to go out to Texas and buy us a,
Motion to adjourn.
oh, she wants to adjourn.
Offered.
Second,
All in favor?
Bye.
your engineer, you